Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome back to the show. It is wonderful to be here with you. And yes, Greg is here too. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Now, you know, I always want to keep you on top of all things business finance, and Greg is going to bring it on all things tech. But today's actually a really fun episode because we're actually going to talk about some of the things that should be on your streaming radar as well. We love the positivity. And as always, do share, do engage with us. We love it. It is so much fun. And a big welcome to In the Loop with Winnie and Greg. I'm Winnie Sun, longtime financial pro, CNBC Council member, Forbes contributor, and host of Level Up, which can also be found on NASDAQ and other platforms as well. And of course, welcome, Greg. How are you doing today?
I am doing good. It's so good to be here. As always, thanks everybody for joining us wherever you're at. Love seeing the comments already come in. I'm Greg Nibbler, in case you don't know, longtime tech journalist and reporter covering all kinds of things. And we'll have a little bit of tech in here today, but really it's going to be about something that we're all talking about. And I think Winnie's going to talk about it too. Everybody's talking about it. It's Twitter. So we'll be covering some of that and what kind of expectations maybe people have. And we'll love to get some comments in there. But we're also, as Winnie said, going to be talking about some recommendations of what to watch. There is so much out there right now streaming. And so we kind of narrowed down just a few recommendations. And so we'll be talking about that too. But as always, since we're live, love to see anybody else's recommendations or comments too as we go through the show. It's always so much fun. And as usual, we start off with Winnie explaining how the world of finances is going, which is a never-ending job in its own right. But Winnie, what is it looking like today?
Greg, it's looking pretty crazy. It's pretty look crazy yesterday. I mean, yesterday was like honestly one of a very, very challenging day in the financial markets. And, you know, things started to look a little bit more positive earlier today, but unfortunately didn't end as sweet as we were hoping for. But before we get there, I want to say a big hello and welcome to Vicky on Facebook Live. It's great to see you. And of course, Joshua CrossX Fighter on YouTube Live. Always a treat to see you. And wow, so many people joining us today. It is so wonderful. And thank you so much for being here. And of course, don't be shy. Share your comments. Let us know how you think about the topics we're going to be talking about. And today, tell us like how your life is in general. We love to hear from you. But yes, I want to start with this, Greg. You know, obviously difficult day on the financial markets. Yesterday, Dow was down over 800 points yesterday. Actually, it closed down 800 points. And today, unfortunately, some of that continued. But on the positive, the Dow did close up 62 points. NASDAQ closed down just shy of 2 points at 1.81. And the S&P 500 did edge out a little bit of positive, up over 8 points. So we'll certainly take it. We'll take the little bit of gain that we have. But one thing you can definitely bet on, and that is today, there was a lot more, there continued to be more volatility. And I can tell you, for a matter of fact, you can continue to expect volatility the rest of this week as well. And I think in the near future. Now, volatility, as we remember, isn't always negative and isn't always positive, because there are always going to be areas that are doing well and areas that are doing not so well. One area that I want to point out that actually, interesting enough, is doing pretty well is Visa. Visa actually reported earnings right after the close today. And even though they actually kept from doing as much business, obviously, and Russia, and of course, and what's happening with Ukraine. But interesting enough, they had actually a blowout quarter. They had a great quarter. They continue to see actually people with Visa credit cards continue to spend. In fact, they saw definitely a boost as people started to go back and travel more, right? And they're anticipating that they will continue to see overall spending across the board. So let's see what happens there. But that's from Visa. The other area that I know that you and I want to talk about, Greg, is the big news, which I think this is across the board. As you know, I follow financial networks as much as you follow tech networks, but all over financial news, everybody's talking about Twitter. And I'm going to guess in your world too, Greg, everybody's talking Twitter, right?
Yep, absolutely. Every single outlet, every person, everybody's talking about Twitter right now. Yeah, across the board.
And I think, Greg, I don't know, you would agree about this too, but I think it's not just the fact that Elon is spending, billions of dollars to buy over Twitter, but there's so much more to this. We see often companies acquiring other companies, right? Companies taking certain companies from being public to private, but this one's different, Greg. I feel like this is something that, it's having a much greater impact, not only on the financial side, but socially as well. And one thing that I am sure you're seeing this is just it ever since the news was announced, the $44 billion deal taking over Twitter. In fact, we're seeing, I guess, politicians seeing impact on their followers, right? This
Yeah.
was this is something that I feel like, Greg, we need to talk about. This was kind of major.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think a lot of it too for everybody right now is just this uncertainty of what happens now, what happens next. None of us, like, no one's ever experienced anything like this before. It's never really happened to where a single person bought a social media platform as big as Twitter and just
Mhm.
now will be the sole owner of it. I mean, that's crazy. And it also means, Elon Musk can do whatever he wants once this finally happens. 3 to 6 months from now, I think is what some of the estimates that I saw is for it to fully go through. But as you can see, even already, there's his Twitter page. He's posting strange memes and
Very
kind
strange.
of very strange things, and trying to rile up people, or I don't know if that's what he's actually trying to do, but it's certainly working.
It's not
And
positive too.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, and this is just what's going on there. And I think, everybody wants to know how he is going to handle it. And based on what he said, it seems like we may be maybe opening things back up to a lot more of misinformation, harassment, some
controversy.
things. Yeah, and things that Twitter would have been doing to try to, at least limit some of that stuff. Based on what Elon's saying, it seems that he's not going to do that.
Yeah. And you probably saw this, Greg, and I think Vicky had mentioned this too on our stream here, is that employees are very, very disappointed. I was reading in the news saying that employees, I guess they communicate on their Slack channel and talking about the news. And I guess really high level officials are literally crying, and it's such disappointment and like just agony given how far, I guess, all the work that Twitter had to do to mitigate some of this negativity and the false information. And I guess the question a lot of the employees are asking is whether Donald Trump will be allowed back on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. And the answer that the employees have been given is that, well, that depends on Elon Musk. So that decision is solely on him, whether or not Donald Trump will come back to Twitter. So it's interesting. Like I actually asked this question. I know you did too. We both asked our community online as soon as it happened, right? How did they feel about this? And
Yeah.
just asking the question. I know you did the same thing. We didn't, I think we just wanted to hear the impression. I'm curious to see what answers you got.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of across the board for a lot of people. Seem to be saying, they're nervous about all of that, about the whole letting people like Donald Trump back on, or anybody who's spouting all the misinformation and hate speech, all of that. So there's definitely a big concern for that, about what he's going to do, how it's going to change things, how it's going to change the interaction. There are people commenting, how is he going to monetize it? Since he's going private, he's still going to want to make some money, even though he could lose the 44 billion and still be okay based on, at least on paper. What's going to happen there? Is it going to turn into a paid subscription all across the board? Probably not. I don't think that's something you would do, but you do already have Twitter Blue kind of in place. So concerns about that side of things and just what it's going to be like, because I think for a lot of us, we use it, for news and promotion. I mean, you and I definitely use it for promotion for all kinds of things, and we're broadcasting live on there right now. So we use it for that, but also I use it a lot for just gathering information and news and
Me too.
reliable sources, that you
Mhm.
follow. So I
What's
suppose the
that going to
sources I
look
go to
like?
aren't going to change, but like what happens now?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Greg, I 100% agree with what you're saying. I think, you know, I don't know if you noticed this, but like, there was so much information coming out on Twitter, some of it true, some of it false, right? It was
Mhm.
really overwhelming. It was quite overwhelming. And during that time, I know a lot of people felt like they weren't heard. They felt like overwhelmed, and things seemed to get a little quieter. It seemed to get a little bit more mild. Like, will
Mhm.
it then come back to that place where there's anxiety and these strong overtures on a platform that I
Yeah.
think actually does really well as a news sharing source, right? I love getting my news from Twitter. It's
Mhm.
convenient, it's fast, it's easy to search. I hope it doesn't become I know you and I are both on the same page on this. I hope it doesn't become a negative, you know,
Yeah.
swimming pool again where it's just like just so much anger that's being shared. I think that's
Yeah.
that's is my biggest concern.
Yeah, the anger, and then the needless use of that to just, bomb somebody's comments with ridiculous things just because they can, or what are they going to be sharing? You're right. It did kind of get to be, I mean, discussions are great and people can have all kinds of opinions and have, conflicting opinions and have discussions about that. But there's some civility to that is kind of necessary. And
Mhm.
just the possibilities, I think, and maybe it's because we all do, like you said, like we remember how that used to be on there, and it
Mhm.
seems like it's been better. And to go back to that, I think kind of, I can see why the Twitter employees would be disappointed if that happens. All
Yeah.
the work that they've done, and granted, there's a lot more work that needs to be done, but still to have to roll all that back, if that's what he does, and that's the indications he's giving, that's what he's implying he's going to do.
That's concerning. Yeah,
Yeah,
because they typically say like a company is only as good as its leadership, right?
yeah,
And so if your leader is using Twitter in a way that is maybe you know positive and uplifting and supporting and bringing highlighting certain causes, then that is really how it's going to be. But in the short time that this news has come out and the tweets have come out, I think we as users have reason to be concerned,
yeah,
right? This may not be the Twitter that we're hoping that it would start to improve, right? Like definitely the things that you talked about last week, Greg, like the edit button, that's
yeah,
important, right? Things to make it so that it's easier for us to communicate. Monetizing, that makes sense too. But I think the bigger overarching theme that we're all concerned about is not just the effect of Twitter as a business, but Twitter's impact on humanity and
yeah,
whether we're going forward or we're going to be moving backward.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, and he's right to some of the extent too, is looking at it kind of as a worldwide message board, or looking at it as a really great way to communicate with a lot of people, and it is. But
Mhm.
as far as that's concerned, looking to the CEO for an example, I mean, just look at some of the things that he's posting even today. Like, he's
Mhm.
just, the way that he uses it is not how I think a lot of people would like to see it used necessarily. At least if you're the CEO and the richest man in the world, posting memes about Bill Gates or whatever, like maybe that's not the example that I think we all want to see.
Yeah.
At least
Maybe
those of us who want that more civil kind of conversations that can happen on Twitter. So it's,
right.
it's going to be pretty crazy. Also, how can he devote that much time to it? He's got so many companies now. Like,
I know. Two companies that, we really enjoy talking about on this
yeah,
show, Greg.
for sure.
I mean, we got to get credit where credit's due, right? I mean, Tesla makes some great vehicles.
Mhm.
Certainly, it's been great for, Mother Earth and taking us in the right direction. I kind of want him to focus and continue to focus on making my car even better.
Right.
And I'm sure with SpaceX too, right, Greg? There's a lot of things that you enjoy. I mean,
Yeah.
but I think the other thing that I gotta say, I'm sure Twitter employees are concerned about this, is Elon hasn't been really well known for taking great care of his employees,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's gotta be concerning.
Yeah. I was, especially, yeah, if you're a Twitter employee right now, I mean, their
Hmm.
future is completely unknown, whether he's going to keep them or how that's all going to happen. So that's,
He
that's,
doesn't even have a house, Greg. Like he's literally
yeah,
just couch surfing, right? I've been to Twitter headquarters. It is so beautiful. There's like unlimited food. All the employees are happy. There's ping pong, and there's an organic garden on the rooftop of the Twitter headquarters in San Francisco. It's a really harmonious place to work. I feel like this is very different when your CEO doesn't even have a house and is really yeah, I don't know. It's and not to mention naming your children not even like real names. Don't get me started. I just think like I like to feel that things evolve for better, I guess,
Right.
at the optimistic viewpoint, it does concern me. I don't even work at Twitter, but it concerns me because I have friends that work at Twitter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just so much uncertainty about where it's going to go. And for anybody who has any comments too, I'd love to see how people feel about it. Maybe there are certainly people out there who are very optimistic about it, and I want to be optimistic about it. I'm
Yes.
just not seeing a lot of the optimistic viewpoints coming out right now of what he can do.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
would love to see him tweet saying something as like, Twitter employees, I can't wait to, to create new like magic together or something like the next,
right.
we're going to do this. This is going to be, something like, I'm excited to get to know you or something. It doesn't even have to be like anything promising, like I'm going to keep you forever, but just something uplifting, right? Because
Right.
people
Yeah.
are sad and they're scared.
Seriously. Yeah. I think, yeah, we're all nervous about where it's going to go. But I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's his toy
Yeah.
now. So,
He had the most chips and he spent it. So
yep.
I
Yep.
don't know, Greg. You and I, we should have. I guess we should have made more money to do something like this, right? Because
Right.
I feel like if we ran Twitter, it would be a much happier place.
I would think so. Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, if anybody wants to loan us 45 billion, so
Yes,
we could,
it's got to be a little bit more, maybe 46 billion.
46, 46 billion.
We'll make sure to take good care of the employees.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Everybody be taken care of with that. So,
We'll bring hot pots in for lunch. No?
for sure. Yeah. Everybody gets a hot pot lunch every day. So we'll have to see where it goes, but it's definitely going to be a topic of discussion for a long time coming as it all happens. And we're all going to find out in real time because we're all on Twitter. So we'll see whenever these changes start or whatever it is that he decides to do here over the next few months. So we'll have to follow it and see what happens. Should we talk about something else though?
Please do. Let's segue.
Let's segue to this. And I would love to hear some opinions because Winnie and I have done this a couple of times before, and we like sharing different shows or a movie or something to look forward to, something you can watch now, and recommendations that we have. And that's why it's always great seeing everybody else's comments too, because there is so much out there. There are so many streaming services. There's only so many hours in the day to watch. So you can miss some good things that are out there. And I've got a couple of those that I want to highlight. But I do have one maybe to just start off, and then maybe Winnie and I can just alternate. But the one that I wanted to highlight, this is coming out next week. So for any Marvel nerd out there, you probably already know about this. But in case you don't, because it kind of snuck up on me, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness comes out next week. And I am really looking forward to this one. It's going to be crazy. That is, I should say that in a more nerdy voice, but yes, it's going to be crazy because this is the kind of the epitome of so many different Marvel movies all coming into one. You've got all the different multiverse stuff and various Doctor Stranges. It looks like from the commercials. This is going to be awesome.
This is awesome. So is this in theaters only, Greg?
Yes, this will be theaters only. I would guess it'll end up on Disney Plus pretty soon, though, within a couple of months. But as of right now, yeah, it is theaters only. So I guess I should have specified that. I was just so excited about it that I had to bring it up.
Oh, yeah, this looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it looks so good. And you've got so many different factors coming in there. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of cameos and spinoffs. And who knows what all they're going to do with this. But this is like a must watch if you are a Marvel fan.
This looks so fun. Absolutely so fun.
Yeah. So Doctor Strange, that is my movie recommendation for one.
That's your first pick?
That's my first pick.
I love it. I'll take it. That does sound great. That doesn't looks like a good one to see in the theater. All right, so I'll jump in then, Greg, because let me tell you, this is an area I actually have a go-to. So Curtis on my team is incredible. I always like to go to him for movie watching advice and show advice because I just feel like this is like really his. This is something like my hobby is travel. This is I definitely think is his hobby, and he helped me with this. And he actually brought this to my radar, and I think it's a good one. It's called Bad Guys, and Bad Guys is available in theaters right this moment. In fact, so you could actually watch this soon. It looks so much fun, right? So this you can take a look at this one has these really fun like criminals, cartoon characters, obviously not very scary, but I don't know. Anytime I see something with a wolf and a shark, I feel like it's that much better. And then you got like Miss Tarantula. So super super fun. I don't know, this is for those of you out there with kids like me. I feel like this is a winner. In fact, I'm actually going to try and see if I can find a theater to take the kids to see this pretty soon.
Nice. Yeah. So Bad Guys. All right. I will
Super cute.
definitely, it definitely looks that way. Yeah.
I
All
know
right. And so
Vicky says it's
that's
cute. It's
in
cute.
the theater as well.
That's in theaters as well. Yeah, we got a lot
Okay.
of things on theaters.
Okay. So Bad Guys, awesome pick. I've got two more now. I will specify I probably should have got some things that are a little bit more kid friendly. So this is
No, that's what I come in. So
all
you're
right. That's
good.
Winnie's side. I've got the other side. Well, this one I wanted to recommend. It's on Apple TV Plus, and it's called Severance. And the reason I wanted to recommend it is because it is such a unique idea, and I've never really seen it done before. And that's kind of saying something because there's so many TV shows that are similar. So it's called Severance. Ben Stiller is actually the producer of it. He's not in it, but Adam Scott is, Christopher Walken, a bunch of people are in it, John Turturro. But the idea is this is set in some time in the future where you can have an implant put into your brain, just a quick procedure to where when you go into work, you don't know what your outside life is. You don't remember it. You only remember being at work. And when you leave work, you don't remember being there. So you don't know what your inside, they call them your inside self or your outie self. You don't know what either one does. So it's the idea, I guess, is just, you can do that. And then you don't have to worry about work when you're outside of there. You just know you go there every day, but you have no idea what you do. It's weird. It's a weird concept.
But it's cool.
It's really cool. It's really, really well done. And it's such a unique idea. And I don't feel like a lot of people have seen it. So that's my other recommendation there. Severance, Apple TV Plus.
I love it. I think I'm gonna check that out, and that's really fun. I think the concept's really smart, and the fact that you like it, Greg, means it's really really good. Okay, I have a fun one to share as well. I'm actually really excited about this. It's coming on Disney Plus, and this is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and in fact, this is going to be May 27th. Right? This is I guess a brand new role of like this is an event series on Disney Plus, so you can actually watch this at the comfort of your own home. And it's a series that begins 10 years after the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. So I think for those of you who love this franchise, I think you're going to be pretty excited. And I love the fact that they're bringing it on Disney Plus, because I think it's just going to give that many more new audience members to be able get involved with this franchise. And I do think whenever you have something fresh and new like this actually brings more viewership to their existing franchise and their older movies as well. So Greg, I'm guessing this was totally on your radar already.
100%. I cannot wait for this. Yeah, I will be watching it the second that it loads up on Disney Plus. Seeing Ewan McGregor go back as Obi-Wan and reliving that role and just telling that story between that time. Because I think for anybody who's a Star Wars fan, you do always wonder, like, what was Obi-Wan up to for 30 years or whatever it was that he was on that planet? So this gives a little bit of that. You get Hayden Christensen back as Darth Vader. I mean, oh yeah, look at that. Darth Vader without the mask on. I mean, come on. Yes, they've got me. Like, take my money.
I'm so glad you know all this, Greg, because honestly, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely gonna watch this, but honestly, I can't keep track of all the characters and all the people. So thank you for sharing all that.
If it's Star Wars or Marvel, I've got everybody.
You're on it. Yeah, I know you are definitely the expert, my go-to for that.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but yeah, I'll watch it all. Like they just take it. Disney pretty much. They can just take my money forever because I'll be watching all of these. So yeah, I cannot wait for that though. That's such an awesome pick. All right. So I have my last one here. And this is another show that I feel like a lot of people haven't seen. I only just watched it recently because it just came to Prime, but it's actually I believe it's a BBC production. It's a British production originally, but now available on Amazon Prime. And it's a pretty fun show. This was recommended to me by somebody else. It's called The Outlaws. And the whole premise is it's this group of people that all committed some kind of crime, nothing like major serious, but enough to where they have to do community service. And so they all have to do community service together. And then, of course, something else happens. I don't want to spoil it too much, but they come across, let's say, some money, and they don't know where it came from. And then they kind of have to team up and decide what to do with it. So it's a comedy. Christopher Walken also in this. Apparently he's in everything now, but he is pretty great at that. In this, that's 2 shows with Christopher Walken. Now that I think about it, but yeah, it is really, really well done. It's funny, it's smart. They kind of cover a lot of ground in it, and they're quick episodes. So it's if you just want to throw something on, and the season's only I think 6 or 7 episodes long. They already filmed season 2, so there's another season that's going to be coming out. But it is, I would recommend this one.
I love it. Vicky is very excited. Vicky says, good British comedy. Very,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yep.
Yeah. That
Yep.
should be super fun. You know, I just feel like we need entertainment like that. We like 6 or 7 episodes, we watch them, and then we can get on with our day. I love it.
Exactly. You can
All
binge it in. Yeah. If you want a long afternoon, you can binge the whole thing.
That's right, right? I mean, you could do that. I mean, it doesn't take forever. And I love that's it's just different and it's so lighthearted. Very good. Very
Yep.
good. All right. So I've got one to kind of for those families out there, because as you know, we also stream out to Modern Mom, and we were thinking about you for this one. And this is Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. This is streaming on May 20th on Disney Plus as well. You're right. Disney Plus just has some great content right now. So
Yeah.
this is going to be your favorite chipmunks coming back. It's a hybrid live action CG sort of film. This should be a lot of fun. I think you're going to enjoy this. But yeah, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers exclusively on Disney Plus. I love how they sort of merge that reality, you know. So look at it. It kind of reminds me of like what they did with Cars a little bit. It's really fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, even just from the tech standpoint of doing that, I love seeing how they incorporate all that CGI into it, just and how advanced it's gotten. Although I have to say, as soon as you said Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, all I have is the song now playing in my head because that's what I used to watch it as a kid. So I'm just hearing it over and over. Rescue Ranger. But yes, that's a great.
Sing it, Greg. Sing it.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. You didn't come here for this, but I will definitely be watching that. Yeah,
You'll be watching
just for
that.
the
Cool.
nostalgia factor.
Cross-X Spider says too, yeah, Trip and Dale trailer, brother showing me, and it looks pretty nostalgic. I know. Look at you, even have characters from Nemo in it. How cute is that?
Nice.
Flounders.
It's a Chip and Dale's universe kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
coming
Thank you. Yeah, that should be really fun. Thank you, Kurt, for bringing that on my radar too. So super cute.
Nice. Well, yeah. So there's some suggestions for everybody of what to watch. And I mean, I know that's just a tiny amount, but that's why I always love people recommending them, because both Severance and The Outlaws were recommended to me by somebody else. I probably never would have watched them and wouldn't have known about them. So if you have any suggestions, please let us know. I always love hearing about something.
Direct message us any tips and feedback. Think and it's and don't ever underestimate and think that we won't be interested. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm like hooked on a show called Wild Tuna. Never in a million years would I ever think I would watch a show called Wild Tuna, but it's like it's that good.
Yeah. I mean, and we talked about that off air, and I'm actually put that on my list, so I'm going to watch that as well.
It's so crazy.
I did see Curtis mention something, and I keep forgetting because I want to watch this. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Okay.
Which is supposed to be like this mind-bending. I don't want to know too much about it going into it, but I believe it's kind of a multiverse situation, and everybody I know that's seen it has said it's amazing.
I'm writing that one. Well, that's the thing is Curtis said it was good. It's definitely something to watch because time and time again, he's always told me the right thing. And in fact, what happens, this is pre-pandemic, he was always the kind of person who he would literally watch the movie as soon as it came out. So you could just wait to get the Curtis review, and then you would decide whether or not you wanted to spend your money to go watch it because he had already seen it.
Nice. Just go to Curtis. Well, I will be watching Everything Everywhere All at Once for sure.
Me too. That's definitely for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that, Greg. Really, really fun. And I guess it works out perfectly well because don't forget, I just want to make a quick reminder, everyone, for those of you who have someone special to celebrate, Mother's Day is coming up in just like a little over a week. So if it wasn't on your radar, it's on your radar now. Okay, so don't forget.
Do not forget. Yes, make a note. But yeah, I think that's probably about it for this week, everybody. And I do again want to say thank you to everybody who's joining in too and watching and commenting and sharing. It's always great to be here.
It's always a treat to be here. It's always a treat to spend time with all of you. And thank you so much, Greg, for being here. And yeah, and we'll be back next week. So definitely stay close. And then I know we'll have a lot to share with you next week, but hope that you do well and hope everybody stays positive. And of course, we appreciate your time immensely.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.